You don't know what's in the coat yet. That's the first mistake. It's 1347. The harbor smells like rotting fish and something else, something warmer, sweeter, wrong. The ships from the east are docking. The sailors look sick. Not tired sick, not fever sick, the kind of sick that makes the port workers step back without knowing why. Their bodies understand before their minds do. You are 23 years old, trained in medicine, and you step forward. That is your second mistake. Within 6 months, 1/3 of Europe will be dead. Within 2 years, the number climbs to half in some cities. Streets that held 10,000 people will hold rats and silence. And you will be the one walking through it. Not running, walking. Toward it, every single time. But here is the thing nobody tells you about the plague doctor. They don't tell you what the coat was made of. They don't tell you what was inside the beak. And they absolutely don't tell you how it ends. You are hired by the city, not by patients. The city. There is a difference that will matter later. You receive a contract, a salary, and a uniform you did not design and do not fully understand. The coat is waxed, canvas, heavy, treated, covering everything from throat to ankle. The gloves are thick leather. The hat is wide-brimmed, black. And the mask is the thing people remember. Long, curved, a beak like a bird that has never existed in nature, filled with dried herbs and flowers and vinegar-soaked sponges, lavender, camphor, myrrh. The theory is that bad air carries the disease. The miasma, poison in the smell of death itself. The beak filters it out. The theory is wrong. You don't know that yet. You are given a wooden staff for examining bodies without touching them, for moving limbs, for knocking on doors from a distance, for keeping the living back when you need them to stay back. You walk into the first house on the first morning, and the smell hits you before the door is fully open. Not rot, not yet, something sharper. A fever sweat so dense it coats the back of your throat even through the herbs. Inside, a mother, 2 children, a man. The man is already past speaking. The swellings under his arm are the size of plums, blackened at the edges, leaking. You know what this is. Every doctor in Europe has been briefed. You also know there is nothing you can do. This is the part that destroys most of the men who take this job. The gap between the title doctor and the reality, which is that you are a witness, a recorder, you bleed patients who are already bleeding, you apply poultices to wounds that do not respond to poultices, you prescribe herbs that do not work, you perform the rituals of medicine in a situation that medicine cannot reach, and you do it wearing a costume that makes children scream and grown men flinch. Walking through a city that has started to understand it is already half dead, and the half that's living doesn't know which half it's in yet. By week 3, you have stopped counting the houses. You count days instead. Each day you are still alive is data. You are doing something, whether it's the coat, the beak, the distance you keep with the staff, something is buying you time. Other men without the coat, men who went in barehanded in February, they are in the ground now. You are still walking. This is not comfort. This is information. The city pays you extra. Danger money. You spend none of it. Month 2. You are called to the house of a notary, a man you know, a man your father knew, Giacomo. He's 50, well-fed, educated, the kind of man who survived things by being careful. He is not careful enough for this. You find him upright in his chair, which surprises you, because most of them can't sit up by this point. He looks at you through the mask and he says, and you will remember this exact phrasing for the rest of your life. Is it the same for everyone? You understand what he means. He's not asking about symptoms. He's asking whether the dying is the same, whether there's any dignity left in it, or whether it has all been stripped away. You tell him yes, the same for everyone. It is a lie, and he knows it, and he accepts it anyway, because the alternative is worse. You record his name in your ledger. You leave. 2 days later, his house is marked. You do not go back. Month 4. And here is the thing you haven't told anyone. You have started to believe you are protected, not by God, not by fate, by the coat. There is evidence observable, repeatable evidence. that the doctors who wear the full uniform survive at higher rates than those who don't. You don't know why. The miasma theory is wrong, but the code is right. And that combination, a right answer arrived at through a wrong reason, is one of the stranger things medicine will ever produce. You have walked into 47 infected houses. You are still alive. The math is doing something to your psychology. You begin to feel not invincible, but necessary. Like the city needs you precisely because you are still standing. Like stopping would be a kind of cowardice. This feeling is the most dangerous thing that has happened to you so far. Month 6. The worst of it in your city is passing. Not because anyone stopped it, because it ran out of people to take. The streets have a different quality now, not just empty, but quieted in a way that used to have a name and now doesn't, because the people who name things like this are mostly dead. You walk the lower quarter on a Tuesday and count 7 houses with the marks still on the door, fresh marks, and you think, still here, still burning. Then a runner finds you. There is another city, 2 days east. They have no doctors left. None. The city is offering triple pay, permanent residence rights, a house, everything a man like you is supposed to want. You have spent 6 months walking toward death every morning and sleeping 3 hours a night, and eating food that tasted like nothing because the smell of the houses never fully left your nose. You take the contract. This is the moment the story turns. And here's what you don't see yet. What you couldn't see then. The new city's outbreak is not the same strain. It moves faster. The swellings are different. The progression is different. The coat that protected you before is protection against a specific vector, and this vector is not exactly the same. You don't have the vocabulary for this. Nobody does. Germ theory is 300 years away. You are working with instruments designed for a disease that has already mutated slightly beyond what those instruments can handle, and you have no way to know that. You arrive. The city is worse than yours was. Not worse in scale, worse in speed. You walk into the first house and the smell is different, sharper, a metallic edge under the sweetness that you don't recognize. You dismiss it. You've been here before. You know this work. Week 2 in the new city. You are examining a child, 6 years old, swellings already present, fever already critical, and something happens that has never happened before. The child coughs directly into the mask at close range. A fine mist that hits the beak straight on, and you feel it, a sensation of dampness, a failure of the seal at the left side where the leather has dried unevenly from months of use. You step back, you finish the examination, you record the case, you walk home. You boil everything you can boil. You watch your hands for 3 days, nothing. Day 4, nothing. Day 5, you exhale in a way you haven't exhaled since the first week of the first outbreak. You write a letter home. You describe the new city. You say you think the worst is breaking. Day 6, you wake up with a headache behind your eyes. Day 7, you know, you record it yourself. In your own ledger, in the same format you've used for every other case over the past 8 months. Name, age, symptoms, date of first presentation. You have examined over 300 cases. You know exactly what you're looking at. You write it all down with the same flat, clinical precision you brought to Giacomo's house, to all of them, and somewhere in the writing there is a kind of defiance. If this is how it ends, at least the ending will be legible. At least someone will be able to read what happened. The swellings appear on day 9. Here's the thing that nobody who wears the mask understands until it's too late. The coat protects you from the flea. The flea carries the bacterium, but this version, this slightly faster strain in the eastern city, has found another route: droplets, breath, the lungs, the pneumonic form. The beak, filled with herbs designed to filter bad air, does nothing against a bacterium carried in the moisture of a coughing child's breath at close range. The suit that saved you for 8 months was never designed for what killed you. You were protected from the thing you feared and exposed to the thing you didn't know to fear. The last entry in your ledger is dated. No name, just physician. Cause of entry, occupational exposure, pneumonic presentation. Prognosis, the dash. Not a word, just a dash. You built the system. You wore the coat. You walked into every room they asked you to walk into. You outlasted the first outbreak. You outlasted 100 patients who had more resources, more prayers, more people who loved them. You survived everything that was supposed to kill you. The thing that killed you was a child coughing. Between 1,347 and 1,353, 25 million people died. Across the next 100 years, the plague returned in waves 11 more times. The doctors in the masks kept being sent back in. Some of them lived, most of them didn't. The mask became a symbol of medicine itself, competence, courage, the willingness to stand between the living and the dead. The herbs in the beak were useless. The coat saved lives, but not for the reason anyone thought, and nobody updated the design. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.